Manufacturing Insights, Manufacturing Engineering Magazine's video series for process improvement. This program will demonstrate the productivity improvements manufacturing companies can achieve when they use the 5S technique as part of a factory makeover. You will see the application of 5S at Simmons Industries, where they have been teaching 5S to their workforce in an effort to revitalize their lean efforts and improve the production of high-quality plumbing products. And at Affordable Interior Systems, where an office furniture manufacturer focuses the 5S principles in the painting, assembly, and shipping areas. For many companies that are just getting started with lean manufacturing, the first step is to have a general cleanup. To do this, most companies follow a 5-step process referred to as 5S, which stands for sort out, set in order, shine, standardize, sustain. The philosophy behind this type of improvement is simple. First, every company needs to realize that the customer is the reason the company continues to exist. And second, each customer will only return if you meet their cost, quality, and delivery standards. To meet these standards, employees must create and deliver only what the customer is willing to pay for. As a company begins to develop a customer focus, it is helpful to bear in mind some basic human nature. Most employees genuinely want to make a valuable contribution. And once they understand how to supply that value, they will gladly provide it. It is also important to remember that some dissatisfaction with your work is normal behavior and is actually a necessary condition for improvement. When starting a lean journey, many companies begin by looking at the factory floor for improvements, since that is where the customer value is being added. A good way to start is to perform a waste walk on the shop floor. Look for excessive inventory at the workbenches, in the stockroom, and outside the factory. Next, look for wasted transportation from the stockroom or from the supplier. More waste can be found when parts are waiting for machine, waiting for people, or waiting for information. The waste of motion is found when people are searching, walking, reaching, bending, or climbing. Waste is also found in redundant processes, unnecessary process steps, and unsafe operations. One of the easiest wastes to find is the visible waste produced when defective products are made. But the worst waste of all is the waste of overproduction, because it amplifies all the other wastes. As you start on your lean journey, ask yourself, what kind of results is your organization hoping for by spending time and energy cleaning up all the clutter? For most companies, the first good outcome of these efforts will be to shorten the time it takes to find the right tool for the job at hand. Other positive results include eliminating workarounds, crowding, and generally lowering the number of things to keep track of. To do this, you should first look at the big picture. See if the aisles are blocked, or if customer orders are easy to find, or if any orders are stuck in long queues. Next, look closer at the details. Are mistakes visible at a glance? Is there missing product information? Are there missing tools or missing stock for processing? One of the first steps in a lean journey is to sort out all accumulated tools and remove any excessive material that is not for a customer. Tear into cabinets, under desks, inside lockers, behind machines, in the attic, or anywhere objects have been stored. As you're doing your sorting, place a red tag on each item, or groups of items that you don't need. Then, move all unneeded items to a holding area. Items stay in this red tag holding area until it has been given an evaluation before disposal. This holding area is necessary to keep from mistakenly disposing of items that are truly needed. While you are sorting, look for items that are dusty or have no clear use for that location. Remove old signs, sort through drawers containing loose items, and remove things you rarely use. You should form an evaluation team to oversee the disposal of these red-tagged items. The team needs to make a decision to throw an item away, sell it, return it to the vendor, use it in another part of the company, or put it in long-term storage. Once you have removed the clutter, you can think about the best arrangement of your equipment and materials. Try to develop a layout that has fewer steps, is less crowded, and requires minimal bending, reaching, or climbing for workers. A good layout will help you find what you're looking for quickly and has no obstacles to part flow. Once you have an overall plan, you can focus on standardizing daily routines for maintaining the new organized workplace. Setting standards will help you see when anything is out of place. Plan to spend at least 5 minutes each day cleaning to maintain your target level of hygiene. Some companies even use white workbenches and shelves so dirt can be seen easily. Each area should have a checklist for scheduled 5S activities that defines when it should be performed and by whom. Floor areas need to be marked for carts, trash cans, material storage, stools, and other movable objects. Even after all your efforts have created a better workspace, continuous effort is still required to sustain the gains you've achieved. Managers and employees should take a 5-minute waste walk each day and provide specific feedback on both good and bad housekeeping situations they find. Companies that have practiced 5S have seen many benefits. Some companies have reduced their manufacturing space by 25 to 50%. Other companies have seen safety and quality improvements. In some cases, unused capital equipment has been sold to help cash flow. And some companies have reduced wasted motion with a new layout. All of these types of improvements are possible if you decide it's time for a factory makeover. To show you firsthand where this 5S cleanup has been effective, we visited several companies and documented their 5S improvements. Simmons Industries, located in Braintree, Massachusetts, is a premier manufacturer of commercial and residential plumbing products. Simmons started their 5S session in the training room, where participants learned the basics. Half of the participants were part of a public seminar organized by the Greater Boston Manufacturing Partnership. The rest of the people were Simmons employees. This event started with the philosophy behind the 5S technique. The participants discovered that the assignment was to make as much progress as possible in the 8 hours they had. With this type of team effort, it is better to make at least some progress than to stand around talking about what to do and end up doing nothing. After the training, small teams first observed each production operation and asked the operators questions about their process. Asking just the right questions in a non-intimidating way is an important skill to master. After the teams understood the basic operations, everyone dug in and started to sort out any unused items. Everything that was not part of the process had a red tag attached to it, and then was moved to a red tag area. The red tag area was defined with red tape on the floor.
Right now we've gathered everything up that some people think that is junk and some people think that's not junk, and what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to go through all this and see what's good and what's not good. I know that some people were originally a little bit panicky. They saw things over here and they came to me and they said, hey, we can't throw this out, we can't throw that out. And I said, well, it's just here for a disposition. So, and hopefully it won't take me any more than a day to go through all this stuff.
Since housekeeping was not always a priority before, some areas were in need of a general cleanup. Sweeping and wiping needed to be done in areas that had not been cleaned in a long time. These extra fixtures in this enclosure were no longer part of the process, so they were moved to the red tag area. Unfortunately, abandoned equipment like this can be a common occurrence in some busy facilities. And just like at home, trash has a habit of collecting in out-of-the-way places. With this event, the amount of unneeded items in the red tag area continued to accumulate until it went over the line. So the teams created a second red tag area.
They're all in the process of the sort right now. I think is the first S. They're going through, defining what's junk and what's not junk. And what is junk, we're putting in an area, and we'll go through that later. And now we're going to start getting into some of the setting in order and defining Kanban sizes and defining places for tooling and for all of the things that they actually need here. Quantities, sizes, outlines. It's going to be great. It's looking good so far.
With the right tool for each job identified, the teams began to mark areas for tool storage. They also defined the floor markings with a standardized tape color for each area. In the set-in-order stage of 5S, they set minimum and maximum levels of incoming inventory, and the excessive material was removed. This workbench is used by employees for attaching product labels and was quite disorganized at first. After the cleanup efforts, the area is now much easier to work in. At each workbench, the teams established locations for every item. Then they labeled the locations and put the items in the right spot. One of the best ways to find your tools quickly is by mounting them on a board so you know where the tools should be when not in use. Before you start any 5S activity, it's important to gather together the supplies you will need. Make sure you have enough colored tape, labelers, brooms, trash cans, spray cleaner, or whatever you'll need to keep people improving. Simmons follows a simple standard when using tape for floor markings. With this workbench, part storage was reorganized so that common part numbers were stored in a common bin. And because only some of the storage bins were marked, new labels were added so that every bin was identified by part number. To make the job simpler, only the tools needed for each operation are kept on the bench.
Surprised the amount of work ahead of us. And sometimes you get overwhelmed by where do I start. So you do the event, you're unsure at first, you go through it, you think you did good, but then you know you did good because the operators will come by you. Sometimes they search you out and say, thank you, that's so much better now. Finally someone listened and it's so much easier now and my back doesn't hurt or this doesn't hurt or my job's easier. Well, the best thing I heard the whole time with the operator was, this is good, this is good. Every time we did something, this is good. So just to see him smiling for the improvement that we're doing, it's great. I think the biggest thing is a happy worker, a safe environment, and quality product because now you're not confused. There's no confusion on your work.
But even after all these changes are made, none of these areas will be perfect. As conditions and work changes, additional improvements need to continue to help clean, organize, and simplify this production area. Although it helps to organize a team effort to get a push in the right direction, the operators and managers at Simmons are the individuals who will need to continue what was started here today. To remind them, Simmons put up a banner, 5S, everybody, every day, a place for everything and everything in its place. Next, we visited Affordable Interior Systems in Hudson, Massachusetts, a manufacturer of workplace furniture products. With over 200,000 square feet of manufacturing facilities, this affordable interior systems facility offers quick ship lead times and outstanding product quality. Even though Affordable Interior Systems was selected to receive the 2003 Shingo Prize for Manufacturing Excellence, they continue to find areas for improvement. During their 5S event, also held in association with the Greater Boston Manufacturing Partnership, the teams first learned about 5S, then moved to the shop floor to make the improvements. The first team started in the shipping area. This shipping area was being used as a temporary storage area and quickly became a disorganized dumping ground. Inventory became harder to find, and they never knew when they were running out of shipping supplies. To avoid not having what they needed, the team added some visual reorder points for several items. To make the right-sized packing material easier to find, the group sorted items by length, labeled them, and put them in organized stacks on shelves. Using scrap lumber, they assembled a bubble wrap dispenser to make the packaging process easier. To avoid the waste of searching, they marked off sections of the floor and made parking spots for a strapping machine and other supplies. With each of these changes, the team just took their best shot at the best way to do it and did not worry about being perfect. Going forward, the employees will observe the work and see how the new systems perform. Then they'll make any adjustments that are needed. Because of the heavy workload in this part of the factory, many different sized panels were being stored in a slightly disorganized storage area. The first step was to sort out what was there and if the items were needed. The required items were moved closer to the point of consumption. After a new area was selected, it was cleared out so the team could mark the floor to provide storage limits. To avoid the waste of searching for the right panels, they labeled each area. The team also noticed that some racks had paperwork and others did not. So they built a clear holder for each rolling storage cart to make a standardized place for the paperwork. Upon entering the area, one minor safety issue was discovered when stacks of foam were stacked too close to a fuse box. To stop this from happening again, the team cleared everything out and marked off a 30-inch area in front of the electrical panels to identify this safety zone. In each area, several items were discovered that were not required. These items were tagged and moved to the red tag area for evaluation. And since everything needs a place, even the trash bin was given a parking spot. The next area they improved on was a workbench used for tool storage. Many different tools were being stored there, and they never knew which tools were missing until they needed it. The problem with this bench was many different people shared the tools, and there was not a standard way to store them. Also, many different electrical connections were plugged into this workbench, and the cords became a tangled mess. So the first thing the team did was to add a tool board to hold only the tools needed in this area. Next, they organized and labeled items on a shelf below the assembly benches. In the painting area, the team discovered lots of hooks that were just thrown into a pile. The team sorted the hooks and hung them on a rack to keep them organized for future use. The team also painted each hook storage rack a different color to help identify which length hook was on each rack. These types of 5S efforts will keep happening every day at Affordable Interior Systems. Even though they may be on top today, other companies also have their own plans in place to compete in this crowded office furniture marketplace. Most of the 5S improvements that have been made in this program have been focused on the first steps of sorting, setting in order, and shining. Some standardized inventory levels were set and many standard tool locations were decided upon. But the final step of sustaining these gains will be the continuous effort needed to keep these companies moving forward on their lean journey. Even though this program demonstrated team efforts, focusing on one small area in a single day, improving your workspace doesn't have to wait for a designated cleanup day. Small efforts that focus on making the operator's job easy and better is what continuous improvement is all about.